Now, my voiceover has corrupted twice, and this happened both times whilst editing the video after the voiceover has been made. So if the editing's bad, I do apologise. I'm just trying to get it not to corrupt. But Splitgate has to be one of the most interesting games of all time. It went from being on everyone's minds, taking the world by storm, having offers from EA to not being talked about just a couple months later. Its rise to popularity genuinely came out of nowhere. One minute it was there, the next minute it was gone. But you don't have games rise this fast in popularity and then just disappear off the face of the earth. So why did it happen to Splitgate? Well, that's what I'm looking at in today's video. Before this video does start, there is a Discord link down in the description. It's free. Of course, it's free. It's fucking Discord. Subscribe if you enjoy it. It won't be great, but subscribe. Splitgate's rise to fame was sudden and it sprung out of nowhere. With it being a mix of Halo and Portal, it piqued people's interests. I think the reason for this is because Halo and Portal were way out of their heyday, so the possibility of a game having both aspects brought people back to those games. Now, a concept alone isn't enough to make something popular though. It had to have another thing that made it one of the most popular games in the world at the time, and I think that was due to a perfect storm of reasons. This first being, they came out during COVID, so everyone was indoors with nothing to do, so they were just playing games. The second is that it was free to play, and who doesn't like a free to play game? And the third reason was the game had simple combat mechanics, making it very player friendly. Just pick up, have a fun time with your friends for a couple hours, and then log off. So with all of these factors, what happened to it? Well, although it had all these great things going for it, it still had one major issue: the servers. The game was never meant to get as popular as it was. I mean, only 4 people were working on it, so there was no way they were expecting the amount of traffic to the game that they got. Just to play the game, you had to wait in a queue for at least 2 hours. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm English, I love queuing as much as the next person, but 2 hours to sit on a loading screen to play a game is just taking the piss. They did eventually get more servers up though, and they were able to hold more people, but by that point the damage was done. People were already losing interest in the game because they couldn't play it, and by that point, it had already been at its peak, getting offers from EA for 500 million that they had turned down, so this was a big blow. However, the servers shouldn't be enough to kill a game that popular off, which brings me to a second problem, and arguably its biggest. It was dull to play. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a great game, but it was a very repetitive game with not much variation in how you could play. All the games sort of merged into one, and with the server issues and its lack of replayability, it's lost most of its player base. Now, you look at the game today, and whilst it is nowhere near as popular as it once was, the game is still very fun to play, and I would highly recommend people to give it another chance. I don't ever think it will see its highs again that it did see in peak COVID, but it's still a good game if you want to just hop on and play for a bit. But another issue that Splitgate also had was its genre that it was in was already so saturated with games that even though it was something new and refreshing, it could have been the best, but because of the server issues off launch, it stopped people from wanting to play it. When you go into such a hostile game market, if you're not the best, or if you're not prepared for everything that could happen, you're not going to last, and that's unfortunately the case that Splitgate had. It could have been one of the best games to ever grace the gaming industry, yet unfortunately due to those issues it just couldn't hold on for very long. I don't blame them for it. I mean, there were only 4 people working on it and they weren't expecting it to get as big as it was meant to get. But let's be honest, it's a real shame when a game like this comes out, something new and refreshing that nobody's seen yet, and it just gets let down by external factors like the server or the replayability. However, I do think it's still worth a go, so if you want to go and have another go, please do. I enjoyed playing it and I might play a bit more. That's it for today's video. I do apologize, it wasn't meant to look like this, but with the corruption I'm going to try and figure something out. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.